Hi, I'm Claire Rose, and this is Influence Matters, the show where each week I share tips, tricks, tools, hacks, resources, whatever you want to call them, to help influence builders just like you to strategically and intentionally cultivate your influence. So, of course, before we get started, I have to really quickly say thank you to our sponsor, Rosedale Publishing, and they help business owners, entrepreneurs, professionals who want to write a business book. They help with the publishing piece. So thank you to them. And of course, I have to give a shout out to Tampa Bay Multimedia and WeBeam TV, where we are today, for making this show possible. Now, if you've seen my show before, you know that usually we go with a question of the day from a viewer, just like you. But today, ta-da! I have a guest, and I'm super excited to introduce you to someone special. Her name is Clustine, and she is the Purpose Coach. So welcome, Clustine.
Thank you, Clara. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here in the studio. I love it.
Fun, huh? Mm-hmm. Right? It's always fun to be in the studio. So, Clustine, tell us what you, obviously your title says you're a coach, right? You're the Purpose Coach specifically, but tell us what that means.
Well, I help women of faith, particularly in business, to get clear on their genius. So how do you stand out in the world? And I help them to do that by mastering their message from the pitch to the platform. There's a lot of people that are in business, but they don't have a focus for their business. And so I help women of faith to get a focus in their business, and then to find out how they shine, and then shine so that they can stand out in the industry. Because we're all in industries where there's thousands of speakers or thousands of financial advisors. How do you stand out? So that's what I do.
Okay. So you don't have to be somebody who doesn't have a business or has no idea yet. You could be in business.
Absolutely. You can be in business. And there's a lot of people in business, they're like, okay, I'm not getting the clients that I want. I need to take this to another level. So I help them to do it strategically and intentionally.
Those are my words. You borrowed my words. Do you use, is that part of your bank of power words, strategic and intentional?
I guess I could say definitely intentional, yeah.
Interesting, yes. Yeah. Even in the opening of the show every week.
Okay.
Strategically and intentionally, that is so important. That says, I have a plan for making this happen.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So you have a plan for helping them to discover their purpose.
I do. I have a couple of systems that I have designed and developed. One is called the Godsperity system. And that helps women to become an expert through publishing, presentations, or programs. And the other one's called the Sold Out Method, and it helps you to master your message from the pitch to the platform.
Wow, cool stuff.
Yeah, it's fun. I have fun anyway.
So tell me why. How did this happen? How did you share your story? How you got to this
story?
Yeah.
So
how you got to this point?
My story starts in jolly old England. I was a
what?
Yeah, I'm British.
I didn't know that.
Brits out there, yes, I am.
I did not. You don't sound like it.
Oh yeah, well, I was a very shy girl. So when I came here and everyone was like, "Oh, say something, say something,
speak."
Yeah, speak, say anything. I was so shy. I think subconsciously I kind of lost my accent, but the more I talk, you'll hear the certain words that I still have the accent, so listen closely and you'll hear it. But I always wanted to be a teacher. So when we came to the United States of America, I was almost 13 years old. And I looked in high school, I started to look at what I would really like to do, teaching. And then I realized I don't make a lot of money. So I'm like, well, I'm not doing that. Don't follow money. Don't follow money. Follow your passion.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
the money will come if you follow your passion. So I decided to do something based on my skills, which was I was good at math and I was good at science. I'm like, I always knew I was supposed to do something different. It was in me, right? I was supposed to be a leader and do something different. So everyone was doing either teaching or nursing or accounting. So and my dad wanted me to be an accountant, and I was like, no, Dad. So I went into engineering. I went into engineering, and I was in it for 8 years total. But 2 years into it, I realized I really was not an engineer. I was not passionate about it. My colleagues were, and I wanted their passion, but I knew it wasn't in engineering. So I prayed for 6 long years, and finally, I moved from Boston to North Carolina, and 1 year, the last year actually that I was there, I got laid off with 117 people on my birthday.
Oh.
And I was the only one laid off on my birthday because they had 4 layoff days. I was the only one laid off on my birthday. But I realized it was a gift. It was a message from God to say, happy birthday, I've got something better. Wow. And this has been better. It's been challenging to develop who I need to be and to craft my programs. But it's been exciting and it's my passion.
So you are practicing what you preach.
I practice what I preach. So awesome. I said all that to say that I'm passionate about helping people to get from a job to their dream and to find what their purpose in life is, because I know what it's like to be in a job and not enjoy going to work. So I don't want anyone to have to experience that.
I agree with you. Life is too short to do something that you don't love.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. Yeah.
But I see this all the time on social media and different places. I see all of you saying, or many of you saying, I don't know what it is. Right? What I'm doing isn't it, but I don't know what it is. Right? So if that's you don't know what it is, we have somebody who can help you figure that out.
Absolutely.
It's how important to love what you do.
Very important. It is. And some people do know, but they're questioning because they're going through challenges. Challenges doesn't mean that you're in the wrong place. Sometimes our challenges are there to help us to gain wisdom.
Or grow.
Right? Or grow.
Sure.
So sometimes I help women to confirm you're in the right place, and sometimes it's to say, no, you need to go in this direction.
Interesting stuff. So we're here today not just because that she's amazing and does some really cool stuff. I didn't know that you were British. I just wrote a book with a lady from the UK.
Oh, okay.
So I should recognize the sound. I haven't caught it in you yet, but maybe that's why we're working together. I don't know. Interesting. But we actually have collaborated on something that we would love to share with you guys.
Absolutely.
So I don't even know how this happened.
I'm still trying to rack my brain. How did we come together?
Happened. We met networking quite a while back.
Right? And we didn't do anything.
Where it was, but we just have known each other for a number of years and have chatted, just casually in networking situations. And then one day it was like, hey, we should do something together. Let's talk about doing something together.
Yes.
And so we started chatting about. And this is just great for any of you to do. If you have somebody you think this person might be an interesting person for me to get to know, right? We hopped on a Zoom call. Tell me what you're doing now. Tell me about what you do, right? And that conversation led to, oh my goodness, we talk to the same people, right? We are speaking to the same audience of people. So she's talking about helping them to discover who they are, their purpose, and I'm talking with them about crafting their message for the world. So those same people need both of those things, right?
Absolutely.
So we're like, oh, let's do a workshop. So we're here today to say we're excited that we have a workshop coming just for you.
Yes.
So we've taken our two businesses, our two passions, and created a workshop called Command Your Message. So I actually put together a quick little slide for you to see a little bit about Clastine and what she does. This is just a really quickly how you can find her, brief overview of who she is, Clastine the Purpose Coach, and that she specializes in helping people go from where they are to attracting the right clients of their dreams. So I wanted to just throw something up there so you could see how to find her really quickly. And then, of course, and then her website. Yes, thank you for our producer throwing that up for us.
He's good, isn't he?
He is good. We'll keep him. He's good.
He's a keeper.
And then if you haven't seen my show before for some reason, and that's totally fine. We love having new people. I talk about intentional influence as a literary consultant, editor. I specialize in the written word, and I can help you to create a book or help you to create that signature speech. So just so that you have an understanding of where we're coming from when we put together this for you. So we have a workshop coming up next week.
Yes, next week, Tuesday.
Tuesday, yes. So we are doing a free workshop called Command Your Message, Discover the Genius in You. And this is specifically for you if you have ever lacked direction or purpose in your business, or you're struggling to explain what your business does. This workshop is for you. You can register for this free workshop by heading over to tinyurl.com/commandyourmessage. We're going to hop on a Zoom for 2 hours from 11 to 1 on Tuesday, and we're going to walk you through discovering your genius, discovering your passion, and how to take that and craft a message for the world. So
Absolutely.
We'll have a few minutes today. Let's talk about that. So talk about what they can learn on Tuesday about discovering their genius. I like that word.
I know, right? So you might think, I'm not a genius, but I'm telling you, you are a genius to somebody, right? You're a genius to somebody. So, think about Susie Orman or Joyce Meyer or Tony Robbins. You are a Tony Robbins. I always tell my clients, you're a Tony Robbins to somebody.
I like that.
All right? So have you ever heard somebody say to you, oh my gosh, you are so good at that, or that was brilliant, or you are a genius. You're gifted in some area, and you have something that somebody else needs, but they cannot do it themselves. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at that thing. And a lot of times, Clara, it's something that is so ingrained in you that you kind of dismiss it. Right? It's normal for you. It's natural for you. You do it without even thinking. But to somebody else, they can't do it. It's something that they need you in order to get something completed. And so to them, you are a genius. So we're going to be looking at how to discover your genius, right? How to discover your genius, because that's what's going to help you to stand out.
I love that. Yes, we're all a genius. We're all a genius
some way,
some
somehow.
And that's interesting. I've never thought of it in that way, in that light. But over the years of working with a lot of consulting clients, helping them, I always just talked about, your passion and your strengths, right? But that's kind of the same thing, your genius, right? What is it that you excel at? What is it you're really good at? It comes so naturally to you that you think, everybody does this, right? Everybody knows this,
right.
But they don't.
Right. Exactly.
They really don't.
Exactly. And I'm glad you said that, because a lot of times I hear some of my clients say, well, everybody knows that. And a lot of times people don't. We just assume because it's so easy for us,
right,
or we learned it quickly, that, oh, well, everybody knows it. No, not necessarily.
Not so
There's
much.
always somebody out there that does not know what you know. And my job is to help you to find those
That's
people.
very cool. So I really learned this during maybe we need to write a book together. With the book that I just
that would be fun.
published, co-wrote with my friend Debbie. where she talks about mindset stuff, I really learned how much I don't know about that piece of business, and learned how much she didn't know about the nuts and bolts side of business. She's an entrepreneur of, maybe 4 or 5 years, where I had my first business when I was 18. So I'm an entrepreneur of, well, a lot of years. I'm not going to tell you how many years. That's how many years. I'm not going to tell you how many years that's been, but a long time. So the nuts and bolts of being a business owner, starting a business, I know it inside. I can do it in my sleep, right? I can have a new business up and running in a week. I know how this is done, right? But there's that other piece that it isn't natural to me, that doesn't, and I'm a fairly positive person, but the mindset stuff, I'm surprised at how much I don't know, right? That's just not my lane, which is why that book was so great. But I think this isn't my lane either. I think we could do a great book. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to be talking Tuesday about helping them discover their genius. Is there another piece you're going to talk about?
So we're going to kind of break down the genius piece. And one of the things is looking at purpose. And then there's some other things that we need to look at. I'm not going to share that right now. And then we're going to look at how your next steps and how you then transition to the message portion, which is what you're going to be talking about.
What I'm going to talk about,
right.
At least
so that we can have that connection.
Right. So we'll kind of go back and forth. Actually, we'll bounce back and forth between the topics that we're covering. But I really want to hone in on building your bank of power words. Those
I love when you say that. I love that. Your bank of power words.
Yes.
We all have a bank. I think that's brilliant. I think that's amazing.
We need to create one, right? We use them already. We use the words anyway, right? So creating that bank is about collecting them, right? We all have personal prose, the way we say things, the words that we use consistently, the things that make us sound like us. Right? So those are important to gather. So we will work on that, building that bank of power words on this workshop. And we will also talk about crafting your message for the world. Can't tell you how many times I've been in networking situations where, people stand up to say who they are and what they do, and they stumble over what they're saying. It's not that they don't know what they do, because they know what they do, right? They don't know how to articulate what they do to other people in a way that makes sense or is cohesive, or sometimes nerves can be an issue. I worked with one lady. Yes, worked with one lady a few years ago. She's like, I don't network because I can't stand up and talk about what I do. I just can't do it. My hands sweat and my mouth gets dry. My tongue swells. Right? She was like full on anxiety attack over having to stand up and say, "Hi, my name's blah," right? But so it was keeping her from networking. I'm like, okay, I'm going to help you out, girl. So I gave her a formula that she can follow, and I will share that formula on Tuesday with you, my friends. So if you are struggling with that, you can write down this simple formula that's going to help you every time. So she has, to this day, she faithfully uses it, and people all the time saying, "Oh my gosh, Clara, thank you so much for sharing that formula with me, because if I'm nervous, I just default to that." I say that, and then I don't stumble. If I have more time, I expand on it. But it makes a difference.
It makes a difference. And here's why that's important, mastering your message, because I teach my clients, it's kind of like the core of your marketing and branding. So, a lot of times when people start a business, you try to get your website and your business cards.
Sure.
I don't even go there with my clients. You've got to know, what is your marketing message? What is your core message? Then your marketing message. And then we can go from there, because now you can use that for your website, for your business cards, for your elevator pitch, for your marketing, for everything. Right? So once you're clear, then you can move forward. But you're not going to get clear on your marketing message unless you are confident that, hey, I have something that people need, right?
Right.
Know what your genius is, and then it's like, okay, so this is who I am. This is why people need me. How am I going to communicate it?
Right.
That's what you're going to be doing.
And that's my side of things. Yeah, absolutely. But I see this often, more than you might even imagine, where people have started a business and then things aren't going well. Right. So they have created the website and they have created the brochures and the business cards and those are all important pieces. But because they didn't get clear on who they are, what they offer, and their marketing message, right? They didn't get that piece right and clear before they started creating those things. Right. So now they have a website that doesn't sound like them, business cards that don't say what needs to be said. They may have a name that people go, what do they do? Right? That's, mistake 101.
Right.
Let's name it I Love Pens, Enterprises or something. Well, do you sell pens? Right. What do you do?
No, I sell chairs.
I sell chairs,
so
right?
What is that?
Right. Yeah. So your piece is so important.
And so is yours, which is why we're getting together, people.
Which is why we're getting together to do this.
Yeah.
Absolutely true.
Yeah.
So if you've ever felt like, I don't know what I'm doing, not for your business. Like you might be a chiropractor, you might be a therapist, and you know that piece of your business, right? You know that piece. But you might not know some of the other pieces that are super important to having a good branding message and good referrals and bringing in the right clients that you want to serve.
Right.
So if you feel like you have kind of been swimming in upstream, or you don't have the clarity of your genius or your purpose, or your message isn't clean and tight for marketing, this workshop is for you.
Absolutely. Also, if you have ever said or asked yourself, why would anyone want to hire me? That is something I hear all the time. Why would anyone, when you're in distress and you're struggling and things aren't working out, a lot of time that's one of the first thoughts that show up. Why would anyone want to hire me or work with me? Then you definitely need to come to Command Your Message, Discover the Genius in You.
Yes. Because what is that saying? That's saying they don't know. Right? They don't know what their genius is.
Oh, and it's saying that they don't think they have anything to offer. Right?
Right? So they don't have that self-confidence.
Right. Exactly. Right? Exactly.
So you said something the other day when we were chatting that you haven't mentioned yet today about courage. Right? Having the courage to niche down.
Yes.
Speak to that just briefly.
Yes. It takes a lot of courage to niche down. So I remember when I first started, I'll just share a story, right?
Okay.
I remember when I first started, and I was like, well, my message is for everyone.
Everybody.
Everybody. Right? Everybody needs mindset shifts. Everybody needs personal and professional development. I speak to everyone. And because I'm heart-centered, it was like, well, I don't want to shut anybody out, because if I shut anybody out or niche down, then that's going to limit me.
Right.
But one of the things that I teach my clients is that when I was in engineering, I was a quality engineer, so I sat on design teams, but I also designed tests in manufacturing. And one year we got this new machinery, and it had this, it jetted water through this really tiny hole really fast, so it cut metal. Now, if I was to take the liquid, is that water in your cup?
This is water,
and I poured it, it's not going to cut me, right? It's not going to cut me. But if you shoot it through a really tiny hole really fast, because of the pressure, it cuts the metal. So that's what niching is. Niching is really like narrowing down who you are, what your powerful message is, so tight and right, that it cuts through all the fluff, and then your ideal clients are like, oh yeah, I need to talk to you when they hear your elevator pitch. So that's why we niche down. It's not shutting people out. It's actually going to make your message clearer so that your ideal client can find you. So when we're general, it's really hard for people to say, yeah, I need her, because it's like,
Right.
is she talking to me?
Right.
Or is she talking
Oh,
to them
yes.
over there? Right?
That's gold right there. That's so good.
So it
I
takes
love,
courage
I'm
to
going to
do that.
borrow that
Yeah,
analogy,
absolutely.
right? That's good.
Yeah.
And it takes some courage to
takes
say,
a lot of courage.
no, I don't work with everybody. I work with, you work with faith-based women.
Yes.
Specific, no dudes allowed.
And I love dudes. I love you guys. I do. But, God made it plain. These are the women I want you to talk to.
I want you to serve.
And so it actually took me a couple of years before I
Yeah.
obeyed and niched down,
And did
because I
that.
still had that lack of courage to
Right.
do it.
Well, that's scary because you think,
It is scary.
well, and
It was
I think
scary.
I've struggled with that in the past myself, feeling like everybody needs to write a book, right? Well, not everybody's going to write a book, right? And to be fair, there's a lot of books I don't want to work on, right? There's some clients I don't want to work with, right? And once I got into my 50s, I'm like, I don't do things I don't want to do anymore. I got this figured out. I don't have to. I don't want to. You can't make me, right? So getting to that point where you could say, these are the people that I want to serve. I want to serve the entrepreneur, the professional who wants to write a book for the sole purpose of generating leads for their
Yes.
business, ministry, or cause.
I love
so I
it.
know exactly who I want to serve. And that, it takes some courage, but that's getting just niched down, finely focused, getting that water stream so it's going to cut metal and make a difference in the clients you are serving.
Absolutely.
And they can find you.
That's right.
You're cutting through the noise with that laser, that water laser, cutting through the noise and the fluff. I
Absolutely.
love that. I'm
Yes.
stealing that.
Okay.
Okay. We are so out of time today, my friends, but thank you so much, Plestine,
Thank
for
you for
being on the
having
show. I
me.
appreciate it. tinyurl.com/command your message. We'll see you on Tuesday. Thank you so much. I will see you again next week right here for another episode of Influence Matters, because you know it does. See you then.
Bye.